Hi everyone, I'm Allison Smith. We're so happy to have you here with us from the Energycast studios in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. Let's take a look at July's top stories. It's going down quite literally. See the explosive moment TVA imploded two giant smokestacks in Anderson County to clear the way for new energy partnership. And that's not the only demolition. Our crews are taking down the biggest building yet at Y12. See how tearing down Alpha 2 was clearing the path for even bigger opportunities at the site. Plus, what if nuclear waste could help save lives? A Fox Business visited Oak Ridge to see how a cleanup project is making a powerful impact on cancer treatment research. The nuclear renaissance is booming in East Tennessee. The 7th annual Nuclear Opportunities Workshop drew its largest crowd yet, highlighting how cleanup is fueling new industry in Oak Ridge.
We can do something with the lands that we clean up. We can do something with the materials that we're cleaning up at Oak Ridge. And we can do it for beneficial reuse, whether that be providing brownfields to build new nuclear facilities, or taking materials and giving them to companies that are turning them into batteries or other materials, or using our material to cure cancer, which we're doing in another project out at Oak Ridge. I mean, it is the ultimate reuse story.
More than 1,000 people packed the Knoxville Convention Center for this year's event. During the first panel, attendees got to hear many of the ways DOE's cleanup program is paving the way for opportunities and growth in the region.
When we started our site selection process, we were looking for a large site to be able to build our enrichment facility where we needed more than 500 acres. And thanks to DOE-EM, they found this wonderful site in the city of Oak Ridge, about 700 acres, very close to K25. And DOE-EM, with UCOR, their mission is very important. We need to make sure this site is clean and ready to be developed for future enrichment plants.
A panelist pointed to the transformation at the East Tennessee Technology Park, where OREM and UCOR have demolished hundreds of buildings, completed soil remediation, and transferred 1,800 acres for private use. Today, that transferred land is helping attract large-scale development from companies like Arano USA. And nuclear companies moving to Oak Ridge in recent years have announced billions of dollars in capital investments and expect to generate hundreds of new jobs.
The effort in Oak Ridge is really a microcosm of what's going on, in the whole country. Is you take a cleanup effort, especially with the DOE facilities, like at the K25 site, and once that's cleaned up, you can transfer the property to the local community for economic development purposes and bring new industry in to use that land again. And it's been real successful at Oak Ridge in doing that.
What started with 85 people in a conference room at Oak Ridge National Laboratory in 2018 has grown into a major industry event. And that growth mirrors the momentum in Oak Ridge. Cleanup is also clearing the way for progress at ORNL and Y12, making space for modern science and national security infrastructure. The massive demolition of Alpha 2 continues to transform the skyline at Y12. It is the largest teardown to date at the National Security Complex, and it's making room for modernization. Leaders shared why it's an important step and a much larger cleanup.
One of the oldest facilities at Y12 is coming down. The demolition of Alpha 2 is the next step toward a modernized future.
It has such historical significance for the Manhattan era. But it's also sort of the closing of a chapter and the opening of a new one.
Built during World War II to enrich uranium for the Manhattan Project, Alpha 2 covered 325,000 square feet, sitting on 2.5 acres. Removing a structure of this size takes years of preparation. Before teardown could begin, crews isolated utilities and removed hazards and contaminated materials from inside the building.
They over-engineered these buildings. Well, that means that the walls are super thick and there's a lot of rebar, and they use materials that we no longer use in construction like asbestos, and that's a hazard that we need to remove so that it is not something that our workforce will be impacted by.
To get the job done, crews are using high-reach equipment and working on multiple fronts to maximize safety and efficiency.
The middle of the high bay, we ate a hole through the middle, which you can see now, and working our way east And then on the north side, we're working our way west. So they're moving in opposite directions, which gives a spacing. We can work multiple demolition crews at once.
The project is on track to wrap up by the end of 2026. And it's clearing the way for a new era at Y-12, making room for new facilities that will support national security missions.
What you see behind us may be construed as demo. I see it as progress.
And it's progress that's deeply personal to East Tennessee, where multiple generations have shaped Y-12's legacy.
The people who worked in these facilities, they raised their families, and their families are now the ones who are in here demolishing this facility. They did the deactivation, they did the demolition, they're creating the new footprint, and their kids are going to come in and they're going to do the construction on this site, and they're going to operate the new facility that gets put in this place.
This project is only the start of Y-12's transformation. OREM is slated to remove scores of other aging facilities at Y-12 to clear away risks and open land to support national security missions in the years ahead.
A national spotlight on Oak Ridge. A Fox Business stopped by to see how a DOE cleanup project is doing far more than removing waste. It's helping fight cancer. A Fox Business correspondent, Ashley Webster, got a close-up look at the uranium-233 disposition project, where nuclear waste is being transformed into a promising cancer treatment. OREM manager Eric Olds, along with leaders from Isotech and TerraPower, shared how this work is expanding the global supply of medical isotopes and cutting costs for taxpayers. Isotech has already boosted the world supply of the rare isotope needed for these treatments by 1,500%, and much more is on the way. You can catch the full story on foxbusiness.com. A first-of-its-kind training program designed to tackle one of DOE's toughest cleanup challenges. How do you best protect workers while removing mercury from contaminated facilities? We found out from the team leading the way in Oak Ridge.
We're here at the UCOR Mercury Worker Training Program, which is the only one of its kind within the DOE.
In the summer of '24, as we were working on deactivation in the basement of Alpha 2, we'd been doing mercury deactivation for a while now. We had some previous experience, most recently at the Colex facility outside Alpha 4, and we'd been using point source ventilation, and that was really sufficient for what we were doing. And then last summer, we had very different conditions in that basement than we'd experienced before. And so the mercury levels, the ambient levels were significantly higher. We realized that we needed a much bigger effort all the way through the hierarchy of controls to protect our workforce from the mercury vapors that were in the area. We did not have a specific training focused on how you operate in a mercury environment to best protect yourself, doing all the activities associated with deactivation.
DOE did not have a program of this type that met the scope of work that we're going to be performing, so we had to develop this from scratch.
We as UCOR developed this program and the entire process that we're working through based on experience, subject matter expertise, lessons learned that we experienced while we were doing this cleanup, and have come up with what really is the alpha program for doing any mercury cleanup in environmental management. It runs through the entire process of the physical hands-on work in the field. So in a safe environment, with the instructor telling you what the right techniques are, what some best practices are, you run through the entire process of identifying the mercury, finding the extent of condition through the whole bore scoping process, opening the pipe, doing the actual cleanup itself, handling the vacuum, containerizing the mercury. All of that's done in an inert environment, so our workforce is ready to go into a live environment and conduct that work and not have it happen for the first time. Alpha 4 deactivation is the next one on the list, where we have extensive mercury contamination throughout the facility, and as we do that deactivation and do that capturing, we just need to make sure our workers, who are already the best in the nation at doing this work, just get better.
Triso-X is making big strides in building its nuclear fuel fabrication plant right here in Oak Ridge. The company is developing a 110-acre campus on the Horizon Center Industrial Park. This footprint will house the nation's first facility dedicated to producing Triso fuel. Crews are in the thick of site preparations, clearing and regrading land, and laying utilities to get the site ready for construction. The goal is to power the company's advanced reactors and eventually supply fuel to a growing market.
The significance of the new Triso-X fuel fabrication facility is that it allows XE and the XE family, including Triso-X, to have a reliable source of fuel going forward for the XE100 reactors. There is no current fuel supply chain for Triso fuel in the United States.
The facility is slated to be fully operational by the end of 2027. The Tennessee Valley Authority's plan to build one of the nation's first small modular reactors cleared a major milestone. The Nuclear Regulatory Commission accepted TVA's construction permit application for a formal review. That's a key step toward building a small modular reactor at the Clinch River site in Oak Ridge. TVA already holds the country's only early site permit for an SMR and now moves into the next phase, a full safety review. Early site prep could start as soon as next year, while the NRC reviews the company's construction permit application. The regulator said it expects to complete its review within 17 months. Check this out, some incredible video from TVA. For decades, these giant smokestacks stood tall over the Bull Run fossil plant, a landmark in Anderson County since 1967. One stack measured 800 feet tall, the other 500. And when they hit the ground, you could feel and see the shockwave. While the plant was retired in 2023, the site's energy legacy is making way for something brand new. Knoxville-based Type 1 Energy is teaming up with TVA to build what could be the world's first nuclear fusion power plant right here. The construction of the prototype is expected to begin in 2026. East Tennessee Children's Hospital just celebrated a big expansion in Oak Ridge, bringing even more pediatric care to a growing community. The new Oak Ridge Outpatient Center is now home to Oak Ridge Pediatrics, with rehabilitation services and a new urgent care set to open this fall. It's all under one roof, making it easier for families to get the care their kids need close to home.
You think about this particular location, Oak Ridge Pediatrics. Last year, we served 25,000 children through Oak Ridge Pediatrics, our largest primary care pediatrics practice in our network.
And thanks to a $645,000 commitment from UCOR and its partners, this clinic is doing even more. It will have behavioral health clinicians, upgraded technology, and mental health education.
The team here loves having that partnership with a mental health clinician who can really help and provide that immediate service, because it can take a while to get into an appointment with a psychologist or a therapist. So this really is immediate, there's no delay, and the outcomes are really going to be great.
And that is just one way healthcare is growing in Oak Ridge. A new generation of family doctors is also training right here. Methodist Medical Center's new residency program is helping solve a growing need for primary care in East Tennessee. And with strong community support, it's off to a promising start. Covenant Health's new family medicine residency program is growing. The first class of residents just wrapped up their internship year, and a new class is already at Methodist Medical Center.
I am so anxious, excited, nervous, scared, just all the feelings, but I'm so ready to get started.
Launched last year, this program is a big step to bringing more primary care doctors to East Tennessee.
We know that doctors tend to practice within 50 miles of the training that they have as a residency. Medical school, not so much. So medical schools in the state are nice, but they don't necessarily produce more doctors for the state. Residencies do.
The program trains new physicians to deliver quality, community-focused care, and it's drawing talent from across the country.
This is the perfect program for me. The people of Oak Ridge are super nice, especially compared to where I grew up, New Jersey. Hospital's awesome, teachers are awesome, everybody. It's just a great experience.
And Oak Ridge offers residents an opportunity to work with a wide range of patients.
We have business people, we have educated people and scientists, but we also have people that work here in jobs that are more normal jobs. And we have people that are living in rural communities around here. So we have a really good mix of not only social strata, but people and people experiences.
A support from the community has also been key. Donors raised more than $260,000 to help establish an endowment that will support the program for years to come.
Donors understand the importance of having great primary care doctors and investing in health care. And so we've been able to get a lot of donors here in the Oak Ridge community to support this program.
These future doctors are ready to make a lasting impact.
A big part of choosing Oak Ridge was also that it's not in a big city. I wanted it to be kind of like that small town feel with the shortest of family medicine physicians. I want to be able to really connect with the community, be able to go out, see what they need, and see how I can cater to their needs.
And as the program grows, so does the promise of a healthier East Tennessee. We've got some great stories lined up for you next month, including a look at the crews who brave the elements, bugs, and even the occasional snake in their line of work. These teams gather info that makes it possible to kickstart important cleanup projects in Oak Ridge. We'll have that and much more. And don't forget to follow us on our social media accounts. We post this show on our YouTube channel. Plus, if you liked a topic we covered here, we often have more on it over there. You can also follow EM News on our Facebook, LinkedIn, and X accounts. Thank you so much for joining us. New episodes come out on the last Wednesday of the month. You can watch on air or online, same places as always. We'll see you next month from the Energycast studio in Oak Ridge.